Alright guys, we're here with Joey Jordan, founder, owner of Roots Jiu-Jitsu, also the Surf Jiu-Jitsu division clothing brand.
Yep.
Amazing gym you have here, amazing environment that you've created. He has a great policy on like no politics, like it's Hawaii, come here and train, like get good training in, get good at Jiu-Jitsu, have a good time. The vibes are always super welcoming, so I just wanted to say I appreciate that.
Appreciate it. Yeah, thank you.
We just wanted to ask some questions today, kind of find out about you. Last time we were here, we talked about your gym. We wanted to get to know you a little better. So first question is, how'd you start Jiu-Jitsu? How'd you find out about Jiu-Jitsu?
Jiu-Jitsu, I started watching the first UFCs, Royce Gracie, and a guy in my neighborhood, which his name is Barrett Yoshida, was already training under...
Kind of popular guy?
Yeah, kind of popular guy. He was training under Helsin at that time. So the only academy I heard that there was on Island was the one in, started off at UH.
The main Helsin Academy?
Helsin Academy.
Oh,
so it started off at UH, and then they moved to Coco Head.
Okay.
And then they opened up a flagship location in Aiea, which is the Rainbow Gymnastics.
Yep.
Which is the twins, Chris and Mike Onzuka, started. So that's where my humble beginnings began. I would say 1997, 98.
Oh my gosh. Hawaii was so lucky we had Helsin Gracie on Island when no one knew what Jiu-Jitsu was.
Yes.
I mean, you couldn't find a black belt. You definitely couldn't find a Gracie.
Exactly.
Except for like Brazil.
Yep.
And it's like, hey, we got like a legend in the community.
Yeah.
Did you know how important Helsin was to Jiu-Jitsu at the time, or was it just like, hey, my buddy's down there, I want to check this out?
Actually, watching the UFCs, you know, the last names pretty much were the same. So I know he's pretty legit. And it was back then, you know, even though you're a blue belt, when you're a blue belt, you're almost like you was like a god already back in the days in Jiu-Jitsu. So yeah, it was a big thing to have Helsin Gracie on Island.
Late 90s, not a lot of upper belts.
Yeah.
What belt was Barrett when he went to ADCC? Do you remember?
Barrett was, I believe he was around, I want to say maybe a blue belt, purple belt.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy to think.
And I vividly remember practically everything when he was training all for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He had a really thought-provoking thing. And this is now like common, like we all do it now, but back then it was like, just get as many reps as possible. I remember seeing him just like triangling guys over and over, and then he would just grab somebody else and like, hey, can I get some reps on you? And everyone was like, get away from me.
Yeah,
and he's like,
I was one of them.
Yeah. But then you see the results, right? Like he got thousands and thousands of reps, and he went to ATCC, and like he's a legend now, right?
Exactly.
Do you take some of that into your training philosophy now? Is that incorporated to what you do at your gym?
Of course, I bring the old school mentality. I believe drill, you know, drill to kill, and just keep consistent, keep dedication, you know, be persistent, and just stick to the game.
Okay, so after Helsin, you moved on to a different gym.
I actually moved Island. I went to college in Arizona. I trained at Megaton Jiu-Jitsu.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I remember.
Another legend. Look at you.
So
wow.
actually, Mike and Chris told me about Megaton, and of course, being a white belt at that time, who the heck's Megaton, right? So, funny thing is that you know, I didn't know where the address was or how close it was. Funny, it was maybe like 2 blocks away from where I stayed, where I went to school. Wow. So I was riding my bike one day, following the address, and lo and behold, the Megaton gym was there. And funny story is that I still remember Mackenzie, the daughter, when she was young, running around the mats, and now she's a UFC legend, just kicking butt. So,
I mean, she has some of the most epic jiu-jitsu fights you've ever seen. And then she transitioned to UFC.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's cool, and you knew her since she was...
Yeah, she was young.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was there. I was in Arizona like 1998, 99, going to school, and so...
You were pretty much there when history was being made.
Exactly.
Probably had no idea that it was happening, but now you look back.
I wouldn't say I'm the first generation because I'm not, but I was part of that movement at, right when it was starting to just blow up.
Right.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Can you talk about the training in the gym, maybe from Helsons to Megatons, like differences or similarities?
Oh yeah.
Or
So
how that kind of played
of
out?
course there was a big difference. Megaton, oh man, I remember his students was animals. Like they would bring it, and I remember he had a lot of MMA fighters cross training also. So that just brought the intensity even more. Back home in Hawaii, it was more strictly like, you know, sport, self-defense. Over there, they were like already progressing to the MMA side. So a lot of MMA fighters I remember I used to train with up there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did that influence your style at all?
MMA, I eventually got into after that. I actually came back home, and then I got into the MMA scene. I dabbled around with Grappling Unlimited little while, and then one of my friends was good friends with the Kamakas. That was it. I joined 808 Fight Factory, trained with them, and I got my first pro fight under 808 Fight Factory.
Nice. And relatively successful MMA career?
I was 1 loss, 3 wins. My 3 wins was in the mainland. My loss was here on Oahu. At a Super Brawl, the first Super Brawl where Egan retired, where his retirement.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I
cool.
fought a local brada, and he's doing good also, Justin Mercado.
Okay.
And it was a good scrap. yeah.
I mean, that's all you can ask for, right? Like, you get in there, you get an opponent that really wants to get after it, and you put on a good fight.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
you get a fight in front of your hometown.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And like the Super Brawls, Rumble on the Rocks.
Super Brawls, right?
We think about those where like...
Yeah, and I trained with legends. I trained with, not Brada Cooper the third. I trained with his dad.
Oh my God.
I trained with Ronda Machine Gun June.
Okay.
Legends. Falanico. I trained with all of them.
Nico's a monster. Nico's a monster,
but my good training partners was like Kai Kamaka.
Okay.
Shane Kabilis.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, I remember Kai Boy Dem, same thing. Kai Boy Dem was all running around the mats. So. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You've got some history. So you came back to Hawaii, you fought some MMA, you were at 808 Fight Factory, and then you transitioned at some point just to Jiu-Jitsu again.
Back to Jiu-Jitsu. So I moved back to the islands and, moved my family back. And I remember Rexy Barnum.
Okay, yeah.
Rexy Barnum used to help me a lot when I was at Helsing Gracie back in the day. And when I went to go look Helsing Gracie when I came back, I was wondering, I didn't see Rexy around, or I didn't see his name.
Okay.
Lo and behold, he broke off from them and he started his own, which he's Alliance, but he was Gracie Baja at one time.
Okay.
So I joined with Rexy through his Gracie Baja time, and then he transitioned into Alliance, and that's where I stayed and continued to train. Yep.
And that's the one in Waipio?
Waipio.
Okay.
Yep. It was a Gracie Baja first.
Wow, I did not know that.
We were Baja first.
Okay.
Yeah. So we had 2 Bajas on island. We had Gracie Baja University, and Gracie Baja our side.
Okay.
Yeah.
And was that around the time when Barata was on island?
Barata was.
Okay.
Barata
he was running the other
Yes,
Baja?
he was on University.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I remember that.
Yeah, Barata was here.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like to think about the amount of people that have transitioned through here and taught, and like you see guys' names, you run into them on the road, and they're like, "Oh no, I used to train here." You're like, "You were there?" Like, "Yeah, I was there."
For sure.
That's so cool. Okay, so you were at Baja, then it was Alliance.
Yep.
Now you're GFT.
Yeah.
So how did that transition come along?
Okay, so so Alliance, I was there and I met my best friends that I still have today, high-ranked black belts, Brandon Rogers, Landon Rodolfo, Clint Kitabayashi, Kavika.
Okay, yeah.
God bless his soul, but we lost Kavika recently. But that's where I met those core guys as we're all blue belts coming up the ranks. And and then one day I heard this Brazilian guy came to Baja University named Cavarinha, and my good friend Brandon Rogers was cross-training with him.
Okay.
So Cavarinha held a private seminar at Brandon Rogers' mom's house in the garage. And there was a selected handful of us, and I was blessed to be one of them.
Okay.
And the first round, Cavarinho was like, "Oh, me and you, my friend." And once I rode with him, and I felt his leverage, I felt his technique.
Was it
and
the neon belly?
It was the neon
That
belly.
neon
It was
belly.
a Cavarinho chair.
Oh, that
Yeah.
neon belly was killer.
Yeah. So after I felt that, I pretty much I transitioned to Cavarinho, and
Okay.
I stuck with him all the way until I got promoted to black belt.
Okay, so you got a black belt under Cavarinho.
Yes. Yeah.
Let's talk about Brandon Rogers for a little
Yeah,
while.
Brandon
that guy,
Rogers.
he could have been like the greatest ever. I didn't know who he was the first time I rode with him.
Yeah.
He had no belt. I was like feeling myself, like going there, trashes me. I'm like, who's this guy? He wouldn't even break a sweat.
Yeah.
I'm like, who is this guy? Like,
Yeah.
somebody explain what just happened.
Yeah.
But you said that's your good friend.
Yeah.
And he still comes here. I've seen him here.
Yeah,
He trains
Brandon
here.
Rogers is here right now. He's just trying to get his career. You know, he's the top man of the pole, so
Yep.
he cannot get injured. And I totally understand that, right?
Yeah.
You got your career and your family's first.
Yep,
So
for sure.
I met Brandon Rogers when we were blue belts. He was a phenom. He was getting ready for Worlds.
Okay.
I just moved back from the mainland and I joined Gracie Baja. So we're on the same team, but we never did meet each other.
Okay.
We
He
came
was
in.
training in town, then you were training.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
I
then we
got you, I
came
got
to
you.
Rexy Barnum's Baja, and then Rexy was like, "Hey, Joey, one of my friends is coming down here today, and he needs to prepare for the Worlds. Can you help him out?" I was like, "Sure." You know, things led to one another, and it was a. First off, we shook hands, and I double leg I took him down, slammed him, and it was a good scrap, you know. But I think just from that, we became super good friends. And from that day on, we just built a friendship like no other.
The mutual respect of like we're gonna go get after it.
Exactly,
And it's like
right?
I respect.
Yeah,
I respect your
like
skills,
nobody
you
was
respect
giving 80%. We're trying to kill each other,
Yeah.
and that's what I appreciate, and I'm sure that's what he appreciated too, right?
mine. That
Yeah.
bond that you create with some of the people. I tell guys like your best friend, and then when we're competing, like I'm trying to take your head off.
Exactly.
When we're in the gym, I'm trying to take your head off, and like your best
I,
friends outside of it.
Exactly. I live by that quote with my students now. I live by that. You know, whatever the time limit set on, 6 minutes. I tell them 6-minute enemies, lifetime friends. Yeah, because you need to, right? You need to.
That's the only way to really like hone the skill.
You got
right?
it.
The steel sharper steel.
You got to raise the bar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Iron
That's
sharpens
awesome.
iron.
Okay, yeah. That's amazing. Okay, so then from Cavarinhos, what was the next transition?
Cavarinho, then I transferred to Cavarinho West, which my immediate professor was Jordan Gomes and Tracy
Okay.
Goodell.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
They're in Texas now.
They're in Texas,
Okay.
and
Yeah, they're awesome.
Yep, I love them. They broke off, right? You know,
Okay.
COVID hit.
Yep.
COVID was probably the worst and the best thing that happened to, some of us. The academy closed down. We didn't have a home, so if you could picture that, right? This academy is like your second home, and now it's shut down. You have nothing. Yeah, so Cavarinho shut his doors down CJJF West.
Okay.
My professors left to the mainland.
Yep.
And so we're kind of left with pretty much garage training already. And then my good friend Rich De Los Reyes, who owns the Mango Tree, he was slowly opening his doors back up, and he wanted to start a jiu-jitsu program. So he hit me up, and the rest is history. Yeah, it's pretty much I took the job, and I grew what is Roots Jiu-Jitsu in Hawaii.
So I think I found this place 2022, sometime
Yeah,
2022, maybe
exactly.
mid-end 2022.
Yeah.
And the
I believe we started in
progression-
March.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I want to say I found it near the end of the year. I was coming through Hawaii here and there for work.
Yeah.
And I don't know who was like, oh, there's this gym that has morning class. Like, oh, we'll go check it out.
Yeah.
And then we did the video about the gym.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was 2022, maybe beginning 2023. A lot has changed since then. The gym has grown significantly.
Yes.
You don't just have one location, you have two locations. You have purely dedicated no-gi classes, you have kids classes. Let's talk about just the growth of the last year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah. So our morning class here in Pro City, excuse me, morning is jiu-jitsu, strictly jiu-jitsu. It's us. Starting about 4 o'clock all the way to evening, it's all Muay Thai. So we needed a location because we were asked for kids wanted to join. The Nogi program wanted to expand. Nighttime classes wanted to expand. So my good friend and student Dane, he had a friend that had a location in Halava.
Okay.
So yeah, we just kind of just opened up a second location for the kids, and yeah, the rest is good. And you know, the amount of students now we're hitting, and the team is growing. So.
There's a lot. Look
Yeah.
at the competitions, and you guys, before it was like a couple of guys here and there, like
Yeah.
you're bringing full force.
Yeah,
There's
yeah, for
every,
sure.
Every bracket
Yeah,
you guys
for
got
sure.
guys in. You think at some point you're going to need more space, being able to accommodate maybe more classes?
Yeah, so we're in the process. We're about 90% signed to a new location
Okay.
right down the road, and it's a bigger location, and it's going to be ours. So
Okay.
now we can open up from morning and to nighttime classes under one roof. We don't have to
Nice.
travel, from Pro City to Halava,
Uh-huh.
to Pro City. We'll have classes probably 7 days a week, and and we'll have mornings, dawn patrol classes, and evenings, because I already have students my high-ranked students, they're willing to teach and train dawn patrol classes. So I'm like, great, yeah, great.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
Great, yeah.
All right, we'll transition a little bit. What do you do? Jiu-Jitsu isn't your full-time thing. I mean, it
Yeah.
is a full-time thing, but you have multiple full-time things.
Yeah.
What do you do as a career?
My 8-hour job, I work utilities. I
Okay.
work for Hawaii Gas.
Okay.
I'm a dispatcher there. I was a technician, and now I'm a dispatcher. So I work there. My graveyard shift. I think I mentioned this in our last interview. My shift starts at 11. I get off at 7 in the morning. Transition my breakfast and supplements, and I come straight to the gym, open up, clean up, and 9:00 a.m. we start classes. I also own my own clothing brand,
Yep.
Surf Jiu-Jitsu Division,
I've heard about it.
Yeah,
It's with the rash guard.
Right on.
Yeah,
Nice
yeah,
one, nice one. Which I run with my good friend, one of my best friends, and my student Junior Farm. Me and him run that. And just running routes and taking care of my elderly mom now. I lost my dad. Probably I mentioned it also in the last interview. I was taking care of my dad who had dementia. He passed, but now it's mom's turn. So, yeah, it's definitely challenging, but I wouldn't have it any other way.
It's the progression of life.
It
right?
is. It is.
It's one of those
Yeah.
things. We know at some point we're gonna have to deal with it.
Yeah.
And when we deal with it, it's like,
Yeah,
this is
you
this
just
is how
gotta
life
take it.
goes.
It's
Yeah.
just seasons. Yeah, it's just seasons.
I'm sorry to hear that you're going through it,
Yeah.
but
No, it's all good.
hope for the best
Yeah.
and
It's
pray,
all
pray
good.
that everything
All
works
good.
out the way it's supposed to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about some of your students. So you talk about Junior.
Yep.
He had a pretty good year in 2023.
Yeah.
2022 had a good year, but
Yep.
2023 had a good
Yep.
year.
Yep.
I was actually in his corner. I was watching the matches with Jordan at Worlds.
Yep.
And he is one of the most composed competitors I've ever seen. You
Yeah.
tell him to do something, he'll look at you, he'll make the eye contact, and then he'll do it.
Yeah.
Do you think that has to do with how you teach in class, where I've seen you on the sidelines coaching your students in live roles and having them react to it? Is that something that's deliberate, or is it something maybe that just happened?
I believe a lot of my students who compete, I like to really get their minds sharp first. Yeah, I know they're there physically, but always the mind is the one that's sometimes can really fail you. So I really practice and preach that in class. Just got to get your guys' mindset right. Plus, with going back with Junior, he's been competing in the Merry Monarchs hula competitions for years, and that alone, you're preparing for competition. So transitioning into jiu-jitsu competition, I think it was easy for him, is because he knows that type of speed already. Yeah, that type of mindset he needs to bring to the table of competing and winning.
Okay.
And I think that's where he excels at.
So a combination of both what we're doing in the gym and then what he already brought to the
Exactly.
table. Okay.
Yeah.
With your other students, are you consciously pushing that towards them? Like, here's an example. Like here's what I would like from you during the competitions. I saw some of your kids doing very similar things where they would look up, they would look at you in the corner, Okay, and then
Yeah.
you would try to implement what you were
I
saying.
really push for trying to, because I know when the heat of the battle, your tunnel vision, you're seeing one way, your hearing is not there, and that's where training comes into play. You need to start telling them, start listening to our voices, right? Start listening, and this is where it all starts. This is where it all happens. It's in the academy. It's in the gym. This is where you make mistakes. This is where it all happens. So, I'm very thorough. It doesn't slip past my fingers. Every class I would tell the kids, listen to our voices. You hear one voice, pay attention. If we're telling you something, if you guys can make eye contact with us. And it's just the experience also. Maybe your first tournament, like I said, they're tunnel vision. But eventually, once they pass that hurdle, the next tournament, they start relaxing. Everything starts to fall into place, like almost like a puzzle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the experience level matters, and you've had experience in multiple disciplines and multiple fights, multiple matches, and you have that perspective where you can say something like, your first one, okay,
exactly,
cool.
yeah.
Are you requiring your students to compete, or your upper belts to compete, or is it like you kind of give them the free reign to kind of just do what they want?
I don't push any of them.
Okay.
I don't push any of them. The reason why I think I have a lot of competitors is I think the way I run I structure my training. I structure my training very, very cardio, push the pace kind of fight.
Yeah,
right?
I've seen that.
Not really too much, just movements. I like to push the pace, so that builds confidence in an individual. So when they know that they can breathe, they can, and they can fight longer, then in their mind they're gonna be like, hey man, a competition's coming up. I think maybe I can do it. And once they tell me if they want to do it, I 100% stand behind their decision, and I'll support them all the way through.
Yeah. I come here a lot because of the pace, because you come here, you're going to get good rounds, and not just me, but I've seen a lot of like very well respected, very good upper belts here when they're getting ready for tournaments, coming to you to train here because of the environment that you've created. And we kind of started the video with, you have this like just this great attitude, or like come and train.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how that happened, because maybe your journey on how you learned jiu-jitsu from many different people, the perspective of like Hawaii, we're always a very opening culture.
Yeah.
What made you think or have the policy in my gym like, no, come train, like I want you guys to get good rounds, I want everybody here?
Well, basically we're born and raised on Hawaii. We pretty much know, or we're related to somebody somehow, some way. The thing that I never did like back in the days was the I wouldn't say loyalty, but it was loyalty, but it was cross training with other gyms. You would be frowned upon back in the day when I was coming up.
I remember those days.
If you're a Gracie student and they found out you were training with a Egan Illinois student or a grappling limb, oh my goodness, it was that wasn't it was kind of unheard of. Yeah, it was very unheard of. But time progressed, things evolved. And I always told myself that, especially when I was coming up the ranks, I had friends leave academies, so I had friends all in all academies. But then when we would get together at somebody's house and we would roll, the friendships were still tight, and the knowledge we could share with one another. That's what was the biggest thing. And me, like, again, I represent Hawaii, so I don't care like where you come from, what school you come from. If you can bring a technique that we didn't know, and a guy has an escape that we didn't know, and we bind that all together, guess what? Hawaii Jiu-Jitsu bar raises.
Yes.
And that's what I always believed in. I don't like politics. I never did like it. That's why I have an open door policy where, if you want to join us, great. Perfect. But if you want to come by, stop by and train with us, same thing. Perfect. The door swings both ways, open and close. You guys come as you is. Yeah.
That's amazing. I really think that vibe is becoming more prevalent in the culture of jiu-jitsu, especially in Hawaii, and I appreciate it. my job takes me all over the world, and since I've started jiu-jitsu, it's like, oh, like I want to get a workout in.
Yeah.
I want to get a workout in there. Like,
Exactly.
hey, you're only here like 2 days. Like, I'm only here 2 days. Like, I came to get some, break a sweat and
Yeah.
everything. But the side effect of that, like you said, was I got this from this guy. I got this from this
Yeah.
guy. Like, they're doing this a little different. Like, why are they doing this?
Exactly.
And it gets your brain to start working. And it takes one person to be like,
Yeah.
do this. All of a sudden, guys will run with it, and
Exactly.
their innovation will take it to
Right.
where
Yeah.
where
And
it goes.
That's what I want. It's not a. I don't believe this is a selfish sport. We're here all to share. And again, we're from Hawaii. We're born to, we're raised to share with one another. So that's what I believe in. If you have something to offer, and the other guy needs it, man, how beautiful is that? Hawaii Jiu-Jitsu would just be up there with the rest of the world.
Yeah. I would love for our generation or our kids' generations, like the next generation of athletes coming up, to be able to train in Hawaii full time and use grappling as a full time career.
Yes.
And in our generation, like you said, it was go fight MMA, right? Like you're not really making money
Yeah.
as a jiu-jitsu guy. Now we have guys that
Yeah.
are from Hawaii, that left Hawaii, that are living off jiu-jitsu, and I would love to see it happen where they can stay in Hawaii, like the Max Holloway
For sure.
of jiu-jitsu, where
Yeah.
they're world champion,
Yeah.
but they stayed here.
Right.
I think what you've built and what you're building is gonna help the future generations
Appreciate that.
to be able to do that. So I think it's beautiful, and
Thank
I
you.
really just appreciate what
Thank
you're
you.
doing
Yeah.
for not just you, not just for Roots, but for Hawaii Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah, that's what I want. Just raise the bar for Hawaii, and I want the world to know that Hawaii, we have to me, I'll be biased, but we got probably the best fighters in the world. We're not exposed like everybody else, but I know we do. I know we do, because I come across them every day. I don't care what age. I think I believe we got the best fighters.
I would agree with that. We got some very, very high level talent here. It just needs the exposure.
Yeah, exactly. Just need the exposure. Yeah.
Well, I have no other questions for you. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about?
No, just thank you for giving me the time, giving me the platform. Jesse, thank you so much. And anytime, come down and train. Come down and train. Anybody.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you, brother.
Have a good one.
All right.